Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar with Maribeth Kuzmeski. I'm Chad Gray, the Product Marketing Manager here at Stukent, and we're very excited to have you all here. This is going to be another awesome webinar with Maribeth. We've had a few so far, and it's been great. We've had a great turnout, and we've all learned a lot, and we're excited. We're excited to have Maribeth on the team with us. So as always, I like to start with a few icebreaker questions. I see that William and Amber have already chatted in. That's great. So if you're on here, go ahead and let me know where you're chiming in from, and also what do you teach or what do you do professionally. We're curious to know a little bit more about you specifically. I also would like to know if there's anyone on here who has attended a webinar with Maribeth before. If you've been on one of our webinars in the past couple months, let us know which one you attended and how you liked it. To let everyone know, again, my name is Chad Gray, and I'm tuning in here from Harriman, Utah. I don't know if any of you have been here, but it's in the Salt Lake Valley, so love this area. It's really nice. Let's see. Pennsylvania, teaching strategic sports communications. Thanks for being on here, Keith. Let's see. From Tennessee, attorney for athletics at Lane College, Ernest. Thanks for coming in. Okay, awesome. Thank you, everyone. If anyone's late, just let us know where you're from and what you teach. We're happy to have you. I wanted to invite everyone, before we start, we have a couple housekeeping items that I'll run through real quick, a couple invites and stuff like that. So if you don't know, coming up in June, the 15th through 17th, we have what's called ProfCon coming up, which is our annual event from Stukent. It's 3 days of webinars just like this, where we have industry professionals and educators as well, talking about all sorts of subjects from NIL to digital marketing to advertising and anything you can basically think of. We have people talking about subjects. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and register for that. It's like I said, it's June 15th through 17th, and it's going to be well worth your time. It's a lot of fun. Also, if you didn't know, we have the Facebook group, the Stukent Professor Community, where you can go in and basically network, make new friends, ask questions about assignments or activities you do in class, and get new ideas for your class. And let's see, last but not least, I actually see some more people chiming in, which is great. It looks like some people are slowly coming in here, so I'll move a little slower. We got some people from, don't know how to say that one, Suwanee, Tennessee. Nancy, thanks for tuning in. Kayla from the University of Oklahoma, College of Law, awesome. Let's see, Texas, we have a high school teacher. Catherine, thanks for being here. Awesome, this is great. This is a great turnout. We're excited. We're excited for Maribeth's presentation on her certifications and updates. So I do want to remind everyone about Maribeth's courseware, the name, image, and likeness courseware. If you haven't already, you can go ahead and get your complimentary access right now. All it takes is just filling out a quick form. If you've done it before through Stukent, it's the same process, just name and email. And you can get access to the complete courseware completely free. All the quizzes and assignments and everything is just available for you to check out. So go ahead and get your access now, and you can follow along as Maribeth gives her presentation. Okay, I guess also I'll remind you that throughout the presentation, feel free to ask questions, make comments. Maribeth is really good at answering those questions as we go, but we'll also save some time at the end in case we didn't get to everything throughout the presentation. So any questions you have, just go ahead and ask away. All right, everyone. Well, this is it. We will go ahead and start here. I'll turn the time over to Maribeth Kuzmeski, who needs no introduction. We all know who she is. She's awesome. So we're happy to have her. Go ahead, Maribeth. Oh, you're muted. There you go.
I got it. Thank you very much for joining in. I know some of you have come to some of these webinars before. I see a lot of compliance people on here. I bet that's because I'm talking about certifications today. So I am going to go through a few things, but if you're interested in connecting with me, I've got a website and a blog and other stuff, Red Zone Athletes. And also, obviously, I'm a professor at Oklahoma State, and that's where I'm teaching this course and doing the things that I'm doing, including Brand Squad and other ways of helping our student athletes become better at their name, image, and likeness. So what I'm going to go through today is just a quick update of the course and how the course got started. I know you compliance people are just waiting for when I'm talking about the certifications, and the certifications is going to be a spot to ask a lot of questions. But course development, who should take the course, the need for certifications, course updates, and then a forum that we're thinking about putting together for those that are teaching NIL courses in universities. So the first thing, just for those of you that don't know, this course development started the course personal branding, name, image, and likeness started through the athletic department at Oklahoma State said, hey, we really need a course to help our student athletes. And so I got tagged to be the person to do that because I've got lots of connections in my family of student athletes. I'm a marketing professor, so it seemed like those things came together. So they asked me to teach this course. I realized there was no courseware on this. There's no courseware on anything related to NIL. So we've been furiously working to put these things together so that there is a foundation of education related to NIL, both on the branding side, just how do you get your name, image, and likeness out there? How do you make money? And then also the compliance side, because how do we stay within the guidelines of our university, of the NCAA, whatever guidelines they've put together, and then just our states in general. So our university wanted education. They wanted to provide resources. They wanted to assist the student athletes. They wanted the student athletes to say, you know what, my university is helping me with my name, image, and likeness. And, there's a lot of deals and money being tossed around right now. That's not where Oklahoma State is at. We are not doing anything like that. So we're really trying to keep it where it's educational. And yes, we want our student athletes to monetize their name, image, and likeness, but we really are coming at this from the perspective of this being an educational opportunity for our student athletes, and they can definitely monetize. And then the coaches can talk about how great this is because we've got all of these efforts internally at Oklahoma State to be able to help our student athletes. Obviously, that's going to help with recruiting. So in the course development, and as everybody on this call knows, everything with NIL is changing, and it's going to change, and it's going to continue to probably change. So this course is always being changed. So if there's something new, for instance, when I first wrote this course, it was at the very beginning of name, image, and likeness. And so there's been a lot of student athletes who have participated in this in different ways across all sports, Division 1, 2, 3, and been able to figure some things out. So as we get new case studies, we add them to this courseware so that it's not something that just existed at the beginning of NIL time. It is something that is constantly evolving. We're not just saying, hey, this is an annual thing that we're going to do an update. No, if there's something new that comes in, we're updating this courseware. And that's the good thing about having digital courseware as well. It's a turnkey course. Anyone can teach it. You don't have to be an expert in marketing or an expert in NIL. Everything is put together. Everything, including the digital textbook, the syllabus, lesson plans, chapter slides, all of the things that you might actually need. And the one thing that we just added is certifications, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm just putting here the table of contents for what this course looks like. Everything from starting to what happens after college and how can you use your ability to now be an entrepreneur, figure out your personal branding, make a space for yourself, and get jobs within or outside of athletics. And so we've really worked hard at doing this for the general population of our student athletes. Our student athletes are not all star athletes who are going to go on to the NFL. They fall into all different categories, and that's what this courseware is really all about. The other thing is we've got sample syllabus for a 1-credit course, for a 3-credit course. It could be online, it could be in person. I right now am teaching it both ways, online and in person. And so it works both ways. I have done this and used this. So it is it's something that I can tell is actually working with our student athletes, and we're finding success with it. So there's a course plan for this entire thing with all of the, elements laid out, the important elements. If a student athlete needs to figure out how to do their personal brand better, it is in this course. It is all laid out, everything from cleaning up your social media to putting forth the best brand and the best representation of yourself. So there are instructor and student versions of slides. We've got all the slides are already done. I mean, it's literally a turnkey course. We've got chapters, questions all throughout that lead into exams and things like that. And we have a whole bunch of assignments, and different than other courses that student athletes or any student might take, this is 100% applicable. So we're asking them to put together, for instance, a media kit. Well, the media kit is on the left side there. If somebody's going to put a media kit together, that media kit's going to be for them. It's going to talk about their engagement, their Instagram, how many people that they are connected to, what their goals are, what services they offer, all those kinds of things, so that it makes it easy for a business or a company to engage. We've got the template set up for all of this. We've got a marketing plan template, communication plan template. They do a brand audit to start off with, which kind of gives them an idea of where they're at and where they're at in comparison with their peers and with people in other universities as well. One of the assignments we do, which the students love, is design your own t-shirt, which requires them to figure out, well, I don't know, I probably should have like a logo or something. Now, the Brand Squad, which I'll talk about in a second, is an organization of students that help our student athletes at Oklahoma State. We help them create logos, but with with Canva and other tools that students have available today, a student athlete can go in and literally create their own logo, put together merchandise, and sell it, which we have done with success. And it's a great opportunity for the student athletes to figure out all the things that you might go into. Just selling a shirt is, you're an entrepreneur now. You're selling a shirt, and you've got to have your storefront, and you've got to have your marketing and your front end and your back end and all of those kinds of things. So it's been a really fun experience to do that. There is also a simulation that goes together with this course. And I love the simulation because instead of reaching out and making a pitch to a brand, you get to test it out. You get to simulate it also. So if you choose to use the simulation portion of it, it helps you because you get to figure out not only what you might say, but what might have a good reaction if you say it. And so those things are really important. So we can test some of these things out in a real like environment before we test it out in a real life environment. Okay, so who should take this course? Obviously, student athletes are taking this course, but this course was not designed just for student athletes. This course was designed also for people at Oklahoma State. We have something called the Brand Squad. The Brand Squad is a group of, it's sort of like a marketing club for student athletes. So our marketing club is just regular marketing students, sports management students, sports media students, people who are interested in sports. They get together, we pair them up with our student athletes, and they help them with their brand. So it's a marketing club, kind of, but we call it the Brand Squad. So we've got all of these students now who we're pairing up with our student athletes to give them an assist, to really help them with their social media and help them find deals and create pitches and answer questions if a brand is reaching out to them, really have a resource. And you could also think of it like a teaching assistant for the course. That's what the Brand Squad is. So this courseware is also really great for Brand Squad members because it teaches them the best practices of doing this. The thing that I feared the most when I started the course in the Brand Squad is I'm going to pair up students with student athletes. I don't want them doing anything that they shouldn't be doing. I don't want them to think that some crazy social media idea is a good idea. I don't want them to go against compliance. I mean, I look at it as, and I've heard people say this to me, but I look at it like a liability for me as the instructor who's working with all of these student athletes and students to put their brand out there. I need them to have best practices. So we've put together all of these resources so that they can have these best practices. The course is also for influencers. We've got students at Oklahoma State who have taken this course who are not a student athlete and they're not in the brand squad, but they're taking it because they want to become an influencer or advance their influencer skills. So use their social media to make money. There's all sorts of Instagram influencers and they come in all different size, shapes, forms, whatever it might be. And so we're also helping that. Our brand squad has actually helped take pictures for some of our students who are not student athletes, who are influencers and really want to present themselves well on social media, which is exactly what we want our student athletes to do. So certifications. I mentioned just before, about why I think there's a need for certifications. I don't think we can just let people go out in the world and be NIL experts. I think that we need some checks and balances. And so when I first started this, the first thing I put together was actually a compliance certification for my brand squad members, because I did not want them to work with an international student, which we work with international student athletes all the time. They just can't make any money right now, the way things are. And so I don't want anything going wrong. I don't want us to do anything or say anything that would not make the university look good. And so the certifications start with compliance, because I have to make sure that the students understand the rules. We need our student athletes to understand the rules too. And here's the rub on this. I mean, at Oklahoma State and probably every university that's on this call, you have talked to your student athletes multiple times about what the rules are, what you can do, what you can't do, what's right, what's wrong, what's tampering. I mean, all of those things, right? You've talked to them. Well, I'm a professor, so I talk to students all the time. They don't always listen. And so we wanted to prove out that they heard the message. And the way that we prove out that they heard the message is certifications, because they can go through and say, I am NIL certified. I understand the compliance rules. And so the first thing really was the compliance certification, but the certification in personal branding is really important as well, because I want them to understand the rules. I want them to understand what's right and wrong from a university perspective and from a branding perspective, from a marketing perspective. What are the best practices? What are terrible practices? I want them to know the best practices, and I want to be able to prove that out. So we have our students, brand squad students, making sure that they're going through an online course on this where we actually do the certification. These certifications, the certification in personal branding, there's 80 questions. It's a follow-up to the NIL branding course through Stukent. There's constant updates, and we've got ongoing educational resources. So let's say that something new comes out, which, by the way, I think probably something new at some point. The NCAA, as you all know on this call, they're forming committees and trying to figure out, what should we do? Wait a minute, this might be a little out of control. So we will always on a dime change these certifications to enable the situation that is occurring right now. And if there are extra things that we think we need to share, so someone's taken the certification, yet let's say that Instagram comes out with a new way of doing something, or Twitter, whatever it is, if there's updates to what's happening inside of the world of personal branding, we will bring that to those who got certified in personal branding. So these are really important things to know, because we want to make sure that this is actual. This isn't a certification that we threw together. This is actually, you'd have to go through the course or really have a really great knowledge of personal branding in order to do the certification. It's the same thing for the compliance certification. Now, right now, the compliance certification is not state compliant. So everybody knows that each state can have their own rules and regulations, as well as each university can have their own rules and regulations. What we did with this, knowing that those things are things that are happening, is that we put together 80 questions that are the NCAA rules and legal opinions on those NCAA rules. So it's, no pay to play and those kinds of things, right? The standards. As the government or the federal government or whatever it might be starts to make some overhaul changes, we will immediately change the certification, set out different kinds of information to those that have already taken the certification, because we want this to be something that is constantly being updated. Now, when you have the state rules and university rules, so how do we handle that at Oklahoma State? We actually have our university rules. We have some reading materials on the university rules, which then go into our version of the certification, so that we make sure that our students understand how to do the process at Oklahoma State. For instance, if a student athlete at Oklahoma State gets a deal, they need to log it into Influencer, which is the app that we use. And if they don't do that, it's a lot of problems. And so we need them to do that and be compliant. That is part of the rules. So they know that they have to do that. There are certain things that need to get approved before they do it. There are certain things that have great liabilities, like doing a clinic or something like that. And so we've got some rules around those kinds of things as well. But most of the rules and most of the compliance certification is on the general side. We did not use any thoughts about what might happen in the future. It's just what has been released and the legal opinions on those releases by the NCAA. Question from someone here. Oh, from Kayla. Did you work with the OSU Compliance Department or NCAA for the course material certification requirements? So number one, we have worked with our OSU compliance. Absolutely, 100%. Every time I come in the building, it seems all the lawyers come around and want to talk about what we're doing at the brand squad. But we actually meet on a weekly basis to talk about what we're doing on our side, what the course is doing. And yes, so OSU compliance of 100%. NCAA, they've released their guidance and we have used that guidance. So we have not gone and used other guidance that the people think might happen. We've used the NCAA guidance. So yes, we have absolutely done that. Other questions about the compliance certification. I mean, I think the compliance certification is a great way for student athletes to prove out that they heard the message. And it's also a great way for brand squad members to prove that they know the rules and that they will not go against those rules, but they've been certified that they understand how things go right now. And then you can always add your own questions on that might be specific to your university. And we just pop those into Canvas, which is our learning management system at Oklahoma State. So we want to make sure that we're covering ourselves. And I want my brand squad members to know what to do and to be able to do it really well. And that requires compliance. So course updates, I've sort of been mentioning this all the way throughout, but this course, this NIL personal branding course here at Stukent, is an evolving course. It is a course that is going to change. It's going to constantly change as we get new student athlete success stories, as the NCAA makes inevitable changes, and as certifications might change. There's going to be industry advancements. For instance, Instagram's going to change. Maybe Twitter is going to do something because of their new owner. Who knows what it is? But we're on top of all of that, and we are in conversation with lawyers all the time about what to do and what not to do. And we will make sure that those things get into this courseware. The other update that I wanted to mention on the course is we're in the process right now of adding expert sessions. And we're adding a media training expert session, because one of the things that our student athletes at Oklahoma State ask for all the time is, hey, I was asked to be on a podcast, or I was asked to do this. And yes, there is some media training that obviously happens from our athletic department, but that doesn't necessarily include how to do a good podcast, how to really present yourself in the best light. So they have their initial training. We have additional training that we do at Oklahoma State. We're going to bring a media training expert. The recording is going to happen probably in the next couple of weeks. to Stukent. We are recording contracts and best practices with a lawyer on, what she's seen on contracts that go wrong, what to watch for. We're recording one on personal finance. We're recording one with an influencer that is not in sports. We're going to do student athlete success stories and professional athlete success stories. All of that. We have some already, but all the rest of these are going to occur over the summer. So as you kick off this class in the fall, these things will all be there and up to date. And finally, one of the things that I have been thinking about, because I get lots and lots and lots of questions, which I love, about, hey, how do you start a brand squad? Hey, how do you teaching this? Are you doing this in person? What's happening? What are questions that students are asking? What are problems you're running into? So I'm thinking about starting a forum for those that are teaching NIL. And Stukent may want me to do it inside of Stukent's formula, but they actually said it's okay to do it outside of that. So we're going to put, if people are interested, and I'd like to find out if anyone is actually interested in doing this, but putting together a forum for those that are teaching all things related to NIL. It would be a Facebook group, and it'd be a place where you could join, and only those that are professors or teaching, maybe even in the high school level, teaching NIL type of activities, to be able to have a forum where we can discuss things, a private forum where we can discuss things that are related to teaching and educating on NIL. So with that, I don't know if we want to put up, I don't know, Chad, if you want to put up a poll on that, but I'd love to see if people are interested in having a forum like that, because I'd love to set it up, and then we'd invite all of you guys to do that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and add the poll right now. Let's see. There it is.
Got it. Yeah. And I think it's just I think it would be just a great place to have some places to have conversation about something that no one really knows about yet. I mean, I'm teaching it. I'm nowhere near an expert in this, because it's not like I've been teaching it for 20 years. This is all new. And I think the key is for this to stay up to date. And that's one of the things that we can do in a forum, or just be a private forum, but a free forum where we could just talk about these things. I would love to have that as well. So any questions from anyone that is on this call right now? I'd love to be able to answer any questions. I think that there are lots of reasons to do a compliance and a personal branding certification, and it's a matter of doing that. Now, if you want access to the certifications, Chad, you want to talk about how right now, which might change, but right now, how they can get access to those certifications?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Maribeth, also for your presentation. But yeah, so as of right now, the only way you can access the certifications is if you request access to the NIL bundle, which is the courseware plus the simulation. And then if you go in and make your account, you can add a new course, and you'll see in there, you'll find that there's a bundle with the certification. There's only one bundle that has both the certifications. So if you go in there, you can check out both the certifications and even run through them yourself. But yeah, that might change in the future. We're just trying to see, how many people want these, how much interest there is, and kind of gauge that. So if you are interested, go ahead and check them out. And also get in touch with your course consultant to talk more specifics. Maybe they can work with you so that you can get maybe just the certifications, or just the simulation, whatever specifics you want for your class. So the link is right there to schedule a demo with your course consultant. They'll help you out with more specifics. But yeah. So yeah, if you guys have any questions for Maribeth, now is the time to ask them. I know she did a great job running through this. It might not be, it's pretty straightforward. The courseware is constantly going to be updated. The NIL world is changing like crazy. We all know that. So stay on your toes and get into the course as soon as possible, because you never know what's going to update or change. So, okay.
Yeah. And again, if anyone wants to reach out to me directly, please reach out. I love to be able to answer questions, or as soon as we get the forum set up, it seems like a lot of people are interested. We'll do that. But just please reach out. I'd love to, talk with you about whatever I've learned about this. And if it can help you, I'd love to be able to do that.
Awesome. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions. It looks like everyone was pretty on board with what you said. That's very rare. Usually we have a million questions by the end of a presentation like this. But yeah, thank you everyone for being on here. Like we said, be sure to reach out if you do have any questions or just want to chat with Maribeth. She's very open and willing to do that. As well as, like I said, reach out to your course consultant. Email me, chad.gray@stukent.com is my email. Do you want to talk about Red Zone Athletes at all? Or
I just wanted to put that there. If somebody wants to reach out to me or find more information, every media hit that we've gotten on the brand squad or the courseware, that stuff all sits at Red Zone Athletes. So I just put it up there if anyone wants to.
Perfect.
To reach me there.
And that also reminds me, I mean, for those of you that are still on, it seems like we're wrapping up, but this session will be recorded, and we'll also send out a follow-up email shortly after, either today or Monday. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll provide you with all the links and handouts that we provided today, as well as the slide deck presentation. So, okay, well, it looks like we just had a short and sweet presentation today. So thank you everyone for being here. And thank you, Maribeth, again. This was awesome. Really appreciate it. And everyone have a great day. We really appreciate it.